So I just posted a couple videos on what it means to be the Christ, and I also wanted to share a personal example because um, being the Christ is a choice. So I've noticed it's a few things. It's in my experience, it's first the choice to align to divinity, and so I tap into my Christ energy by watching classes, Twin Flame Ascension School and Life Purpose class, by um, doing anything that I need to take care of myself, eating well, listening to relaxing music, going for walks, these things that help me to tap into my divinity, cultivating healthy relationships. But one of the primary things is, of course, reading spiritual texts, but really knowing God's truth, which I've learned to access through the teachings of unionism and Jeff and Shaleia. And I want to give you a practical example of some of the implications this has for my life. So, a big lesson for me has been learning how to stand up for myself. And I had another incident actually yesterday where I had the opportunity. And this just shows you, and I could tell it was the spiritual work I've been doing that helped prep me for this moment. And, of course, and I believe I handled the situation well. Perhaps there's even better ways I could handle it, but I really feel like, the spiritual work I've been putting in helped me to handle the situation pretty well. I was at work and something about cell phone business sometimes attracts some really intense energies. And I sensed when this gentleman came in that his energy was pretty charged. And I instantly didn't want anything to do with him. I was already interacting with customer service, had a phone call. One of my coworkers who's new dealt with him. And I already decided I'm going to tune in here because I don't like this guy's energy. I'm learning to tap into, the more you do the work of clearing your vibration, you really start to tune into like what is love and what is abuse. Those are like the two spectrums. And I could feel the abuse in this man's aura. And sure enough, as I listened in, I was on this phone with customer service. He just kept picking away at my coworker, and it was really nasty. He was trying to pretend like he was being funny, but his energy was really intense, and I could feel my coworker's discomfort. And at first, I started by butting in a couple times. It was just he was asking these questions very harshly, and I very firmly stopped him and gave him a very clear answer and told him, this is how it works here. This is the policy, and this is what needs to be respected. And that just, he heard that, but then he kept picking at my coworker. And so finally I had to put down the phone. And I said, sir, um, and my coworker is new, and you need to back off. Your energy is aggressive, and you need to back off. And instantly, this man shoved the chair next to him, made this really big lunging stance, just directed all of his anger towards me, and said something along the lines of yelling at me, "Do you know who you're talking to?" And there it was in that moment. This man was revealed. This was the abuse that he was trying to hide and covertly um, dump onto my coworker, and I called it out. I could feel it. And then he just revealed it, just burst out this basically like demonic energy is what it felt like, very intense. And I told him, you will calm down immediately or I will call the cops right away. And he tried to huff and puff about it and say he'll go to another store. I said, you can do whatever you want, but you will have to calm down to stay here. And he did kind of take a few deep breaths and he changed his demeanor. And normally I would just, actually, in the past, I have asked people to leave and I would ask someone like this just to leave. But he did make a choice to calm down. Um, he called his wife and he tried to say, I heard him say, this man tried to tell me to back off because the guy's new. And then he kind of stopped. He's like, he kind of trailed off. I could tell he's like, that's a very appropriate thing, very appropriate discipline for someone to give another person. So he calmed down. He was actually very friendly. And I did, stop and I said, Andrew, do you feel comfortable with this interaction? Because it's completely your choice whether you work with him. Andrew nodded. He said, if we can be calm, yes. And I asked the man that I believe that he should apologize. And He initially didn't. Later, when he was ready to leave, he did. Still not very happy with this man's behavior. I realized I could have gone deeper to discipline him. It's a learning, but he did make a new choice to be calm. Andrew was able to finish his interaction. Um, and then the man did make an apology, which wasn't really sufficient. But as he was leaving, and then I made a report to my manager to report what happened. It is our responsibility to stand up for what is right. That's the moral of the story. And maybe you could comment. There's maybe better ways I could have even handled it, but I felt like I was very glad I intervened. I handled it very directly. My coworker did thank me after that and say I really appreciated that. Um, and I knew I did the right thing. It didn't matter that he wasn't working with me. I knew something was not right was happening, and it was my responsibility to address it. And that is what it means to be the Christ. And as you go deeper, and like for me, as I go deeper in the work of Jeff and Shaleia and loving myself, I have to stand up for myself because I'm choosing to be more and more divine. I'm choosing to love myself. And that means I deserve to be happy, respected in every moment and every interaction. So I hope this video inspires you to stand up for yourself, to go deeper in loving yourself. And of course, I recommend going deeper in the work of Jeff and Shaleia because it truly does teach you the way to self-love, self-respect. So thank you for watching and have a wonderful day.